Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we take a look at the impact of pre-symptomatic coronavirus spread as Kentucky sees more than 400 new cases in one single day. And we keep hearing about the importance of contact tracing to slow the spread of COVID-19. But how exactly does it work? We asked the experts.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 5 o'clock on this Thursday, July the 9th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Yesterday was a warm one, and today it's going to be much of the same as it's now that July weather pattern. Let's bring Brandon in this morning.
Hey, Will, good morning to you. We're going to continue to see some fog this morning as we head out the door. We're going to continue to see again some dense fog down into parts of the Cumberland Valley, less than a mile down at Harlan, Jonesville, just across the border in Lee County there at a little less than half a mile, zero visibility in Williamsburg. So again, just kind of keep an eye on that this morning as you head out the door. But you're right, July heat will continue later today, and this could be one of the hottest days of the year so far. UVA-wise, quiet this morning, not much fog over that way as we head out the door. Temperatures mild already, and they're muggy too. I'll show you the dew points in a second. Temperatures running in the 70s pretty much in the Big Sandy and back up toward the I-64 corridor. A little cooler, mid to upper 60s down toward the south there, Lake Cumberland, I-75, Cumberland Valley. But you've already got some spots like Jonesville, Jackson, Prestonsburg, Pikeville, Logan, and Moorhead that are already in that instant sweat category. They really never got out of it yesterday as we got to 90 at the National Weather Service office at Jackson. 91's the official forecast today, but I think some spots could be hotter, and when you factor in the heat index, it could feel like close to 100 degrees at times. I'll have the full forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Will?
Thank you, Brandon. Going to want to have the water ready and make sure you have some shade and some air conditioning to get to. Thank you. Well, two separate lawsuits naming Governor Andy Beshear have been filed over orders made during the COVID-19 pandemic. One lawsuit was filed in state court on Tuesday to force the state to continue offering vote by mail to all eligible voters to ensure a safe election in November. Another was filed in federal court by a group of Northern Kentucky landlords trying to resume evictions. The governor issued an executive order in May suspending evictions due to financial hardships caused by the pandemic. Meanwhile, the Kentucky State Police Commissioner says an effigy of the governor hanged back in May was not taken down as quickly as he'd like. The effigy was hung from a tree during a rally on the Capitol grounds. Commissioner Rodney Brewer talked to state lawmakers during a subcommittee meeting yesterday. The Herald Leader covered it. They report Brewer said they've learned from their mistakes that day, and a new security system has been installed at the governor's mansion. Well, for a second day in a row, we recorded the second highest daily total for COVID-19 cases in Kentucky yesterday. With 400 new cases, at least 17,919 Kentuckians have now tested positive for the coronavirus. 6 new deaths were reported, meaning 608 Kentuckians have now died from COVID-19. One of those deaths is a 78-year-old woman from Perry County. Wednesday was just the second time the state has surpassed 400 new cases in one single day. The highest so far is May 5th, when we had 625. Half of those came from mass testing at a state prison. Well, experts say people who have COVID-19 but do not have symptoms are the main reason why the virus is spreading. A new study shows about half of COVID-19 cases are caused by asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic spread. A major problem is people may not be showing the symptoms yet or have very mild symptoms and brush them off. Those people are even more likely to pass the virus on. That's one of the big reasons health experts are pushing the need to wear face masks and get tested, whether you feel sick or not.
And the problem is it kind of limps along for so long in terms of development. You can spread it to a bunch of people before you realize what's going on.
Now, to find a testing site near you, you can head on over to kycovid19.ky.gov. Governor Andy Beshear has scheduled a news conference for this afternoon at 4 o'clock. He says he will announce some mandatory new requirements. We will carry that here on WYMT. Well, a mandatory mask order is now in effect in Cincinnati. Hamilton County is one of several areas in Ohio that issued the order after a significant increase in new coronavirus cases. The order applies to any public places or outdoors if you can't social distance by 6 feet. Masks are also required for transportation and ride-sharing services. Children under the age of 10 and those who cannot safely wear a mask are exempt from the order. Well, half the battle against COVID-19 is getting people tested. The other half is figuring out exactly how COVID-19 is spreading. Once a person tests positive for COVID-19, it is up to a team of contact tracers to find who else may have been exposed. The tracers work with the infected person to find out who they recently were close to for at least 10 minutes. Those people then get a call letting them know that they have been exposed to the virus and should quarantine.
Most people are very understanding and willing to comply with the recommendations.
Lake Cumberland District health officials say they have been able to contact between 85 and 90% of the people who have been around someone with COVID-19. Most of the contact tracing is done after finding out where people work, go to church, or who their relatives are. Well, 3 truckloads filled with toys, toothpaste, clothes, and more was given away in downtown Hazard yesterday, all provided by Save the Children. Normally, these giveaways happen at the schools, but these items are for anyone. It gave those in need easier access to the essentials. Organizer Kennedy Cooch says the ability to provide this for the community is a blessing.
We try to give it out to kids at our school usually. Every school in Perry County usually gets stuff, but we just had so much stuff that we just decided to set up tonight and give it out to whoever needed it.
Some items were donated by an internal program at Save the Children called Gift in Kind, where companies give their products to the organization, such as Johnson & Johnson with baby products. Other gifts also came from the Christian Appalachian Project and the Salvation Army. Well, thank you for getting your day started with us right here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, we'll hear how Pikeville Medical Center is using a grant to help treat more children here in the mountains.
The big story today, of course, is the heat. We're going to continue to watch that and track it for you. I'll tell you about the hot forecast in about 3 minutes.